Hey, it's Daniel, and tomorrow morning I'm going to be leaving early and heading up to Palo Pinto, Texas. It's about a 3-hour drive, and I will be performing a live musical concert, a rare one. I haven't done these, I don't do these very often these days, unfortunately, but I played there last year. I'll be playing there again this year. It's the Palo Pinto Flute, Art, and Music Festival. I may be saying the flute, art, and music a little bit differently, but a lot of world and Native American style flutes, ambient music, world music, stuff like that. So pretty cool stuff. And I'll be doing a workshop on the science of music, mastering special effects or effects in music, and talking about reverbs and delays and things like that, and the history where our effects come from, all the way back to Stonehenge, and why we as humans like the sound of things reverberating or echoing back to us. And so I'll be talking about the science, the psychology of that, psychoacoustics, that kind of thing. But here's a quick tour of my setup. And I will say it's been a trying day because I have a slipped disc in my back right now that has pretty much taken the wind out of my sails. But this event has been planned for about 6 or 7 months now, almost at least a half a year. And so the show must go on. But anyway, so here's a quick rundown of the workshop. Now for the live performance, I'll be using this setup right here, a keyboard, computer, and flute. But I'll show you that in a second. But for the workshop, the Science of Sound and Effects workshop, that's what it's going to look like. Of course, on that table, there'll be a black, elegant looking tablecloth hanging all the way down to the floor always. And then there's several parts of this. So we'll come over here. Here we have a waveform demonstration machine. This demonstrates both transverse, here's a sign, transverse waves, and longitudinal waves or compressional waves. And that will start the show off. And then over here we've got a very cool, very long spring. This spring is designed, it's made for science. It stretches out to about 15 feet long, and it's used to show transverse waves. Here I have a slinky, the world's largest slinky. This is not a normal slinky. This is actually made for the science world as well, for teaching. And I just have this crazy canister to hold it in place. There's a piece of PVC pipe in there. But this stretches out, and this shows compressional or longitudinal waves very well. So I'll be showing that. And then here's an oscilloscope. This is a Tektronix/Sony. Yes, they had a relationship once upon a time, and this was their baby. This was their baby, and I love this baby. There we go. There you go. A little bit of some trademark stuff going on there. We have a waveform machine here. This is pretty interesting. This will show you, yeah, there we go. Look at that. We have standing waves. You have 3 standing waves taking place on a string. So that's pretty cool stuff. Computer over here. Oh, and then here's a pie pan, or a pizza pan rather. Pizza pan, that's going to be used to demonstrate plate reverbs. This will also be used to demonstrate spring reverbs. Very cool. Here we have a Mac laptop here, MacBook, that has got Logic Pro opened, and then a MIDI keyboard. And this MIDI keyboard is connected to this keyboard or to this computer. And if I play a chord here, is actually connected into my oscilloscope. And so that's pretty sweet. Over here we have a performance microphone set up and ready to go. And we have here a Eventide or Eventide Space. This is an amazing, amazing effects unit. It's got full MIDI in and out. It's all programmable and remote controllable. And it's just pretty amazing right there. And then down here we have a mixer. This is going to be a Behringer. It's a Xenix 1204 USB interface, and so you can kind of hear my voices. Got a little bit of stuff going on here. Woo! And that's kind of a shimmer effect. Here's another one. Hello. Coming out of those 600 watt Yamaha speakers right over there, which is being powered by this effects unit. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and mute this a second. This is also a USB interface. So this guy actually goes into here, and then from there into there, and then comes out the speakers. But it also goes to the microphones. And here's another mic. This is my performance mic. So here we have a clip-on wireless body pack here. And if I play, let me put the effect back on and play a couple of quick notes here. Here we go. Kind of hard to do with one hand, but anyway, there's that. And then last but not least, I'm going to be doing some room mapping. So I'm actually going to be using a convolution reverb, creating an impulse response for a convolution reverb. That's really an amazing thing. I'll be running a sine wave, a loud sine wave from these two speakers here into the room and mapping it out. And I can show you what a sine wave looks like. If I come over here to my test, where's my test response here? Where are you, test? Where are you, test? Instrument 3, is that my test? Let me get rid of this guy and move this over. And here we go. So we now have a sine wave coming out of the speakers there. And by the way, that note right there is 440. That's A440. It's the central note of music on the keyboard for sure. All right, and so these two microphones, let me mute that. Okay, these two microphones right here are condenser microphones. These are very expensive studio condenser microphones that are powered by 48 volts phantom power coming from that device. And they're set up in a 90-degree cross-coincidental pattern. Let me go ahead and give this a little bit of sound. I'm going to unmute these and bring this up just a little bit so you can kind of hear. I don't want these to feed back or anything, but here we go. So I don't know if I have a stereo mic. This guy is coming out of that speaker. This guy is coming out of that speaker. And the reason that they're in this pattern and so close together rather than just spreading out like this is to keep phasing down to absolute zero. So when a sound comes in, it's going to hit these two at the same time and go from left to right. And this one shoots off in this direction, this one shoots off in this direction. These are directional to a pretty good degree, but that's called a cross-coincidental pattern. It's used for field stereo recordings. So when I used to do a lot of recordings out in nature, I would set up something like this, either mid-side stereo or cross-coincidental like this with a couple of, I need to clean that connector right there. But anyway, that's cool. And all these are connected through this oscilloscope, so you can see that. And boom, that's my setup. And down here, underneath this guy, here's my last little table. Here's the wireless receiver. That's for this body pack right here. So it transmits over to this guy. And this is a Bluetooth receiver. My phone is actually connected into, my iPhone is actually connected into this. And this is a high-powered Bluetooth receiver, 2 antennas on it. And that goes right up into this channel of this mixer. And I can play music and everything else, soundtracks straight through here. It comes out, it's very, very cool, very awesome. And then, of course, a CD player, a very cheap one that I had to purchase at a Walmart before a funeral. Was it earlier this year? Yeah. And I needed it to do a soundtrack. And so there's a soundtrack that I'm going to be playing on there. And it's from Lord of the Rings, a song from Lord of the Rings I'll be singing and performing during my live concert. Anyway, that's about it. That's my tour. And hope you like it. I'll be there tomorrow. I'm mixing science and music because music is science. Lots of instruments, by the way. Really quickly here. Forget those. We've got lots of flutes going on. There's more flutes over here. There are more flutes over there. There's a dog. That dog, I won't be playing him. He makes weird noises sometimes. And sometimes it comes out this end, and sometimes it comes out that end. But anyway, and here's more flutes going on. Lots and lots of them. Here's a... hunters might know what this is. Yeah, can you recognize this sound? Try it again. It's an elk call. It's an elk call. There we go. And so over here, lots of crazy instruments. We got probably the world's biggest rain stick. And an overtone flute. Overtone flutes are fun. Here's one. Check it out. And then lots of other cool things here. A thunder drum. We've got a panpipe. And a couple big bass flutes. Lots of cool little guys. Here's a cricket. And the one that makes Charlie go crazy. All right, that's about it. All right, we'll see you later. Oh, one last thing. How could I possibly miss this? I finished building this today. I started this in, I'd say 10 years ago, and I finally finished it today. It is a combination of a bull roarer and a didgeridoo, and I made the belts for it today. Those are actually belts from my Van de Graaff generator. Check this out. Here's what happens when you give this a spin. And I finished building this frame today. Listen to this. So I'll be using that there as well. All right, that's about it. I think we have scienced all the things. And there's no audio coming out of anything. And yeah, here we go. Scienced all the things. Until next time, we'll see you later.